3, 2, 1. What's good, people? We are finally back from a bit of a COVID social distancing break, and it's damn good to be back. On today's episode of the KAJ Convos podcast, we're joined by an incredible entrepreneur. When I was doing some research, he looks to be an incredible chef, a recipe creator, and quite frankly, he's easily the strongest person in this room. Please welcome the owner of Baked Doughnuts, Bayan Sharafi.
Oh, you guys are so kind.
What's
so
up,
nice.
brother?
Thank you so much for having me. This is so nice.
What's going on? Before we get into the meat and potatoes of your company, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Personal life, family life. What's going on with that?
I'm originally from Drumheller.
Okay.
Have you guys been to Drumheller?
Of course. Dinosaurs.
Yeah, so I grew up with the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I went to high school there. It's this really small town, and my parents are both from Iran. So they migrated to Drumheller because they got kicked out of Iran and somehow ended up in a little small town.
Yeah.
So I was raised there, and then I moved to Calgary when I came to university.
Did you go to UC or Mount Royal?
I went to DeVry.
DeVry, yeah.
Yeah, originally I wanted to go to NAIT and go to music school, but coming from a Middle Eastern family, your dad's either engineer or a doctor.
Yeah.
Were your parents like that?
Asian families, same thing. Same thing, brother.
So it's I don't care if you love this, you got to have security and be a doctor and to support or an engineer. So then I ended up going to DeVry for electronic engineering, specifically for my dad. And then I dropped out, so I went there for 3 years. And then I went to Avionics at SAIT for 2 years, and I fixed helicopters and did all the electronic wiring for helicopters.
Cool.
So then I fixed helicopters for a while, but I really loved exercising. So then I just quit that and just became a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest change ever. It's it completely ruined my relationship with my dad.
Oh, really?
He's like, you're a personal trainer? He's like, you were a helicopter mechanic. I was telling everybody how he was just so proud of it. And now he's like, this guy's barely making any money. He's a personal trainer.
But there's a level of almost like immigrant mentality, right? Where it's when you come here, we talk about this when my parents first came to Calgary or to Canada. It was all about just getting a job and surviving, right? And the stability is super important. But yeah, it's interesting that you you talk about that.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. That's an insane decision to make if you knew that there was going to be some turmoil with your dad to follow a dream.
Exactly. But it's about if it sits well with your heart, you just gotta do it. And it's unfortunate the relationships that it'll ruin, but in the end, it's going to take you somewhere where you can feel fulfilled in some way.
Right.
I think that's really important.
So what fitness, sports, what got you into that? Was it just something you've always liked to do?
Because I was chubby. I was chubby growing up, and I got made fun of a lot. And I had man boobs, and I was always scared to take my shirt off, and people would pinch my nipples.
Oh, damn.
It sucked, man. And then girls would just avoid. So then one time in Calgary, I had a skinny buddy who's skinny ripped. And I had a buddy who had jacked arms.
Yeah.
And one day we're sitting in a hot tub with these two other girls, and I had a crush on one of them. And in front of them, he's like, would you want to look like Anthony with the abs, or do you want my arms? I was like, I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck you, man. And it's this
what
sucks.
about me?
One day I'll be more ripped than him, and I'll be more jacked than you.
Yeah.
And that just did it. And then I started going to the gym all the time, and that just completely changed my life.
Right. And what is it, a bit of a tangent, but what is it about the gym that keeps you going? For me personally, it's just the confidence you feel, the mental health aspect of it. Is that the same type of thing with you?
It's the discipline of changing your environment, going there, focusing on yourself, and pushing yourself as hard as you can.
Right.
And it's the gym is it's a very vulnerable place. You can really see what you're capable of. Are you going to stop at your 20th rep when you know you still have a few left in you, or are you going to push yourself to that extreme? And that feeling is really powering because you can transfer that to other aspects of your life too. Right. Do you listen to David Goggins?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I don't listen to music, just get in your head.
Yeah, he's such a psycho, and he's don't, when you run, if you listen to music, you're cheating. It's oh shoot, that's his mentality. But he's just, he's the biggest motivator on earth. He's a crazy dude.
But I do find that interesting as in my due diligence, or maybe my lurking of your Instagram. You're doing your birthday photos with the donut with a candle in it. And I look back in your most recent one, you're there, shirt's off, and you're pretty shredded. Because usually it's, people are bulking or cutting. The people don't maintain a level of of shred, I guess. You know, year in, year out. But then you go back another year. There you are again with a donut for the previous birthday, and you're like, shredded. It's like, how did, like, to maintain that throughout the year and to be doing it for many years, like, it's super disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you get used to it and you want to maintain it. You don't want to let yourself go. Like, obviously, like, I don't always like look like that. There's moments where I just stop working out, stop eating healthy, and then you lose it. But then you're like, I have to get back into it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's good.
That's amazing. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was just going to say, it's kind of funny, the parallels, the ebbs and flows that we feel as well with starting a business.
Yeah.
Where your urgency and your motivation can wax and wane, and it like comes and goes, and you have to like find it again, dig deep, and then bring it back.
That's what it is about digging deep, and that's something you have to like remind yourself every day. You're like, why are you doing what you're doing? Because that's the biggest reason that's gonna like drive you every day.
Right. Well, let's talk about like how that correlates to this company here, this Baked Doughnuts. How did you start that, and why donuts? You know,
it was curiosity, because like so obviously you heard of Quest Bar.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Dough Bar Donuts in the States?
I have not. No.
So Dough Bar Donuts is a donut company. They package their donuts plain, and they have icings on the side and decorations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you get a box and you choose your flavor, and then when you have it at home, you decorate it.
Sure.
And then, so I'm like, that's a great business idea. And no one's done protein donuts in Canada at the time. So it's like, if I can replicate that business idea and find a donut recipe that I can do that, but I'll make them gluten-free. So it'd be something different. And then like that spark of curiosity, I just really wanted to make donuts for some reason. And it's like, I knew that could be something. And then Quest Bar, they're one of the fastest growing businesses at the time. They grew like, I don't know what they did, but like in 2 years, they were just completely changed.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they can do that, I can try to do something like that, but with donuts.
Right.
So then the goal was to try to create a gluten-free donut recipe, and I just got really obsessive with it. And always like found, like I had 2 failing businesses that happened within my donut journey, but there's something about donuts. I'm like, I gotta continue making donuts.
I mean, who doesn't like donuts?
Yeah.
Donuts is one of the greatest food of all time. So
it's a little homage back to your less than ideal body state when you're growing up, perhaps. You know, I'll bring back some of those goodies and have them in a healthy format. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
like just to change it up and like just try something, especially with all these people who have allergies. Like if I can create something for them that they can enjoy, then that could create like a nice experience. There's no limitations to it. I'll add protein, I'll remove this, and so.
And so were you a chef? Like, did you have chef skills, or you just learned as you go?
I like the artistic creations of what food can, like if you spend a lot of time, because I love taking pictures of the food. Sometimes I'll just make the food just for the picture, and someone else can eat it. But it's like what you can create as a masterpiece, because it creates an experience, and then you just get addicted to that. Yeah.
That's incredible. And so when you were coming up with, like, I guess the idea of protein donuts, obviously that's not like when you think about traditional donuts, it's high in fat, high in carb, crispy, very low in protein. And so how was that process of, I guess, like ideating and being like a bit of a scientist trying to come up with like these donuts?
Well, have you know Muscle Insider?
Yeah.
So Muscle Insider hosted a protein chef competition on Instagram in 2017.
Okay.
So they chose 10 people from Canada to participate, and you had 6 weeks to make as many recipes as you could. So I got chosen for that.
Oh, cool.
And it was using protein powder. So Optimum would send you protein powder, and they're like, who can make the most recipes, innovative recipes using protein powder? So then I ended up making like hamburgers and soup and just like any possible thing I can think of to integrate protein powder into it.
Yeah.
I won that competition. And then that just kind of like gave me a lot of confidence. I'm like, I can integrate protein powder into like any recipe. So I'll figure out how to make it around donuts.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's sweet. And then, so you still work with Optimum?
Yeah. So I'm their protein chef. So it's like, I make recipes for them, and then it's awesome. Like it's really different, because like they sponsor me now and they send me protein powders. So anytime I have ideas, I can just try to figure out a way and just make them a recipe.
That's sweet. And that was predominantly through that competition?
It was because of the competition.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that completely changed my life for sure when it came to baking.
Cool.
And then they have tons of flavors as well, so that leads to a lot of variety into
there's a lot of room for creative.
Or do you work with just mostly the basic like vanilla or like a chocolate protein?
No, like I like it because they have whey powder, they have casein, they have isolates. They all provide a different texture, and people react to them differently. So it's like if I can complement a coffee flavor, or if I can complement a banana cream flavor, I'll do that. But then the texture of the protein powder would change the recipe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. So you started this company, and how did it start? Were you just working from home first, baking it at home and selling it? Like how?
Yeah.
How did that look?
I was baking it at home, and then I started this little website called Bayan's Bakery, and I would sell these like Oreo barks and peanut butter cups, and then my donuts. So I'd make it for people, and then a meal prep company asked me to make them donuts, so I started making them donuts. And then, this is the crazy part. So, do you guys believe in like the universe and law of attraction and like manifesting?
Of course, yeah.
So it was like, I had a vision board, and every day I was asking the universe, it was like, I want to make this dough bar concept. I have the recipe. I'm just like, send someone who can financially secure this, and I can grow it. And then I thought about it every day. And then one day, so I had this protein pancake business. It was like, you had a protein pancake powder, and then you had all your toppings and syrups packaged. So all you have to do is add an egg, add water, and then you had design them.
Sure.
That business failed, but my business partner at the time went to Okotoks to pitch this gym, which the owner was there at the one time of that month.
Wow.
And was looking to open up a protein bakery at the time. And my partner Eric was mentioning, he's like, yeah, my business partner is buying, he has a protein chef. He's like, I'm looking for someone like that. So he gave Eric his number. Yeah, Eric gave him my number, and he called me. He's like, I want to open up a protein bakery. I'll invest all of it. You can just come up with the recipes.
Crazy.
Holy fuck balls. Like, that's what I was asking the universe.
Yeah.
So
It answered.
cool. And so then that introduced all of this.
Right. And so you're still working with him today, or?
Yeah. So yeah, he's part owner of this business. So he was able to provide everything I needed to start it up, and then I just kind of took it over from there.
That's incredible. Like that's one of those, like when you talk about the universe, just being in the right place, being at the right time. But there's this concept that I always talk about where I don't know if you've ever heard it, but in ancient Greece, like mythology, there's this concept that they used to talk about called kairos. I think it's a Greek or Roman word, but it basically means the opportune moment. But at the time, the opportune moment isn't just about being at the right place at the right time. It's about being prepared to be at the right place at the right time. So it's like back in the day, these guys, when they would wear these masks or like these helmets with like the slits in them. And so if you shot a bow and arrow, any random person can randomly shoot a bow and arrow and hit somebody like through that slit, right? That's pure luck. But kairos is these like warriors who trained every single day, every single hour of their life, preparing for that specific moment for when like the wars happened, that they would be able to execute on that, right? And that's kind of what it sounds like for you, where you've been thinking about this idea, or these ideas have been kind of like boiling, like you've been thinking about them, and then at that right moment when your business partner went to that gym that luckily found this guy who was investing in this thing, you were already ready to go, and you had, maybe not fully ready, but you had the idea and you were ready to execute on that moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Kairos.
Yeah, Kairos.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's definitely something that I think about when I hear about stories like you.
Interesting.
But that's cool.
So you had two businesses going alongside that's kind of led to the donut, one being the one with your partner, Eric.
Yeah.
And what was that?
I had a meal prep business, so I was meal prepping for people.
Yeah. And then the second one was which?
So I was
the additional
doing
one?
Bayan's Bakery, my meal prep, and my protein pancake business.
Right.
Yeah. And what was maybe the reason, do you think, that the food prep didn't work out?
I wasn't mentally there. Like, it was a lot of fun, but I didn't have a business model. I just liked making food for people. So as soon as it got too busy, I was like, I can't do this. I'm done. I gave up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, like you need structure. You definitely need structure to whatever you do. Otherwise, it's like it doesn't carry you on. It's really easy to fall off.
Yeah. That's that passion that we were talking about a little bit before.
Yeah.
Right. So what's a day in the life of yours looks like right now?
Right now, it's like I bake 500 donuts a day. So it's like we average around 450, 500 every day. So
Crazy.
since March 23rd, I've baked over 22,000 donuts.
Damn.
Like, it's crazy. It's a lot of donuts.
And are you on your own? Do you have someone helping you?
I started doing it on my own, but like finally I have great staff that are there to help me in the afternoons.
Cool.
Oh man, because like trying to do it on your own, I was doing all the baking and delivery.
Yeah.
Like luckily I have Megan because she helps me structure and keep my sanity.
Yeah.
But like at the beginning, it's like you bake all morning and then I deliver everything in the afternoon, and
Right.
it was just like it was
Just a bit of a grind.
too much. So now it's like I wake up at 5:30 every morning. I love to journal. I love to like reflect on my life, and like now I'm trying to bring clarity questions, like what I'm like priming your brain, asking you like what do you want your day to look like? What kind of goals do you want? What do you want to accomplish this day? What challenges do you think you're going to face?
Right.
Like kind of just set yourself up, because especially as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're gonna. Every day is so different. And like that's the crazy thing I'm still trying to adapt to. It's like one day I'm like, yeah, I fucking love today.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
day is like, I hate my life so much right now, and like this is so hard. So it's just being able to like prime your mind to be ready for anything, so that you can still grind through it and not end the day feeling bad for yourself or ashamed that you didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A quick side story about that as well. I forget who I heard this from, but I think you'll relate to this. Like, people always talk about, meditating when they wake up or priming themselves for the day. And lots of people don't necessarily do it because maybe, you just roll out of bed, try to get a coffee, get out to work and whatnot. And it's just like the regular busyness of life gets in the way. But I was listening to some guy talk about how whenever you go to the gym or whenever you play a sport, you always stretch, right? Like you have to stretch, you have to warm up your muscles, you have to warm up your body to let it know that you're about to go work for the next hour, right? So why is your brain any different, right? Mm-hmm. So if you prime your brain in the morning for like, it's just like warming up or stretching before you work out. And it's a good habit that I'll say that I did fall off doing. I did like to do that, but it's something that maybe now I'll get into. What inspired you to do that? Is that just something you've always done?
Like priming my brain.
Yeah.
It's because I'm emotional. Like when you're emotional and you're sensitive and you're not ready, because a lot of things happen that are out of your control, but you still take ownership of it and you make it a part of your day, so it completely affects your state. So you got to learn that there's a lot of shit that happens in your day that's out of your control that you just got to, okay, it happened and now I got to follow through. So obviously, like I listen to a lot of entrepreneurs and I try to learn from them. Like, what do they do every morning? How does Elon Musk live each day? Like,
yeah.
I'm being stressed by donuts, and he has Tesla and SpaceX. It's like, how the fuck does he handle it?
Yeah.
So it's just learning different habits to just be really mentally strong, to be able to overcome. Because there's two things from like Seneca that he mentions. It's like amor fati, so it's like, love everything that happens. So regardless of what happens, know that it's out of your control. It happened. How can you grow from this? Even though that's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because like things happen. You're like, why do I have to love this?
Yeah.
I hate this so much. But it's just like keeping that attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just knowing how vulnerable you are. Like there's 2 times in my life where I should have died. So like things happen and you just take for granted your days. So you're like, how can I just make each day really good and not react to all this shit?
Yeah.
Just be myself, but then grow and like take everything from that day. So I think priming your mind is important because you get distracted really fast and you lose sense of the presence and like your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were those near death experiences?
Like one
I'm
time,
curious now.
So I had this meal prep business in Edmonton. So I would drive there. I was doing my meal prep here, and then I had a juice bar in Edmonton. So I would drive there every weekend.
Oh my!
One weekend, so I worked there for 3 days, and then it was midnight. It was like around like 11 p.m. Like I need to drive back because I have meal prep tomorrow. So I was like, I can do it. So I was driving back home, and I had coffee and energy drinks. I had the window open, but I passed out while I was driving.
Oh my!
And I was going 110, and I just like completely fell asleep, and I just remember waking up to the sound of hearing my car in gravel, and I smashed right into a pole.
Oh.
And then my car, like it just got destroyed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nothing happened to me. I'm like, how the fuck did I survive? Like when the police officer came, he's like, I don't know.
How you're here?
Like, how are you here? Like
Yeah.
usually you should be in the hospital right now.
So you walked from.
Yeah, I just like I was pretty pissed because I had them on my meals prepped in my car and they all got ruined. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. I'm alive, but my food.
Yeah. But it's like that moment, it's like, how the hell did I, like something, I'm here for a reason. I got it. take advantage of like my life more because like that I shouldn't be safe. From that.
Yeah.
Then this other time, so I've done a lot of jobs in my life, and this one I dealt weed for about like 2 months.
Yeah.
This was before it was legal.
Yeah. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. And this one time, I always listen to my gut. It was midnight. It was my last delivery. And I'm waiting because like how it works is that the person will call, you go to their location, they get into your car, you give them what they need, and that's it. And like I'm waiting at this house, and my gut's like, you shouldn't. It's been like 10 minutes, like leave. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. And he calls, just sorry, man. Like I'll be right up there. He's like, can you just come to the back alley? I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I go to this dark back alley in the northeast, and I'm like, okay. I see these like from my rear view. I see these two guys walking to my car, like every other delivery. I'm like, yeah. Get in. He's like, can my friend get in the back? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Yeah. He gets in. As soon as he gets in, he wraps his arm around my throat, like pulls me into my seat, and this guy pulls out a giant French knife. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm going to die. And I'm like, immediately in my head, I'm like, hey, I have to just be able to call my mom right after this. Like, where's my phone? Kate, because like, I'm going to die. If this guy stabs me, that's it.
Yeah.
And then, man, that was so fucking. It was crazy. And like, I was trying to fight him, and then he stabbed me in my thigh.
Oh,
like, he just like
shit.
kind of like jabbed. You could tell he was scared too.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I can't risk, because like my arms are open. All he had to do is jab it through my chest.
Right.
Like, that's it. And then I just gave them what they were asking for, and then they ran. And I was just like, like I was in a back, like no one would have found me until the next morning. So
Yeah.
if I didn't die, I would have tried to drive myself to the hospital. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah.
So obviously I
What
quit that
the
job
yeah,
right
yeah.
after, but like,
Yeah.
it just makes you think, man. It's just like, you don't, like, you lose your life like that. You don't know when you're going to die.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I will say there was a bunch of red flags in your story, going to a back
Right?
alley, letting a guy behind you, that type of thing. But yeah, man, that's nuts.
yeah, you gotta listen to your gut. That's how your gut always knows. And like my gut told me like 5 times before that even happened.
Yeah.
And when it's on a lesser extent, you feel betrayed by yourself if you don't listen to your gut.
Totally, man.
You think, shoot, I thought that and I should have gone that way and I did this other thing and now I don't feel authentic to you.
Yeah, your
yourself
ego
as
gets in the way.
Yeah. Those are crazy.
Amazing.
Glad you're here because
Thank you.
Yeah.
everyone needs a little bit of goodness in their life. You're bringing a little bit, I think, to each and every one.
Thanks, man.
Random question I have though before we're diving in. So a lot of the donuts here, so we have the baked donuts right in front of us. Vegan and gluten-free.
Yeah.
Do you maintain a vegan and gluten-free lifestyle? Or is that mainly just for the business to be accessible to everyone?
So we started it as all gluten-free, and I had one vegan option. And then how it transitioned, the whey protein donuts had a different base than the vegan ones. The first 3 months, I got so many complaints about my whey protein ones. Oh, it's dry. I didn't like it. It was too chewy. Because like no one puts protein in their donuts.
Yeah.
But the vegan ones were always so soft and they were so nice. And like, I was like, okay. My sister's vegan, but like I wasn't vegan or anything at the time. And then I transitioned into, eventually I just transitioned into like the doing gluten-free and then more vegan options.
Yeah.
But then everyone had these dairy allergies and it's just like, okay, there's more allergies now. But then if I can make it egg-free, dairy-free, like exclude as much as I can, let's do that. So then I decided it was like last August, like just to go 100% vegan.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm not vegan. When I went to visit my sister, she really inspired me to be vegan. So I tried it, but I'm not educated enough to get enough calories daily properly with being vegan. So I do experiment with it a lot. And like I learned how to make my own like Seton sausages and like all these different dishes using tofu and make my own cheese using cashews and nutritional yeast. Like it's a really cool trend of eating. And it makes you really think and like you have to you have to eat healthier. Like I've never eaten so many beans in my life and like vegetables. And it's like, I felt better when I eat vegan.
And so with these donuts being like we're saying vegan, gluten-free, what's like the macro differences between your donuts and say like a Tim Hortons donut?
So we use coconut sugar and applesauce as our main sweeteners.
Okay.
And I try to limit the amount of sugar. So in the donut itself, without anything on it, there's only 4 grams of sugar.
Wow.
So I try to eliminate as much as I can so that the toppings could elaborate on its flavoring.
Yeah.
So on these ones, the biggest difference is because they're baked, and then the fat content is a lot lower because they're not deep fried. And my fat comes from butter and also applesauce. Like applesauce is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like it replaces as a sugar and as a good fat, and it keeps everything a lot more moist. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is that the ratio of fat and sugar. So the donut itself, by itself, is usually, I think it's about like 19 to 20 grams of carbohydrates.
Right. Interesting. It's so cool how you can just like come up with something like this. Cause whenever I like get heavy into working out and whatnot, like I definitely follow like a macro-based diet, like if it fits your macro style of eating. And one of the coolest things about that way of like thinking, or that way of dieting, so to speak, is that you really can eat whatever you want in moderation, as long as it fits within like your goals of that day. And having like an option like this is insane, because like if you follow like a regular macro-based diet, if you eat one donut, it's like your fat content is just through the roof. You just can't even like handle it anymore, right? So it's crazy that you came up with this idea. I think it's genius, to be honest.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I just love feeding people. Like I love it's kind of creepy, but like I love giving someone a donut and watching them eat it. Yeah. Like, I want to see you experience the flavor.
Right, but like sushi in Japan, like with like gyro, where it's like there's a sushi master who's cutting up the fish, and like you're sitting across the bar from them, and they just like give it to you, and watch you eat it. It's like this is
they want you to enjoy it,
and you better enjoy it like it's good fish, or else you're not coming back.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Let's talk about the transition of you working, and you said you were working originally from home, and then now, right before the podcast, you actually mentioned to us that you have a physical location in the TD Mall, right? So how did that process go? What was it like? What was your thought process like? What was, was it scary? What were you thinking?
Obviously, when I was at home, I had a lot more control over it, because I can just stay up all day and then be like, okay, let's bake some donuts now. But like here, I don't know, like not everyone is meant to be a manager and lead a team. Like some people are meant to just kind of stay back, create, and like do what. 100%. So I knew when I opened the storefront, I have to hire staff now, and like I have to be a leader. Like I don't know how the fuck to do that. Like I know how to bake. So that's the biggest challenge. It was having a team, being like, how do I teach you what I know when I've never really done that before? And I'm like, I'm your boss now. Like this is weird.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest and hardest part for me. But I knew that I had to be a good leader, and then I knew I had to work my fucking ass off if I have a storefront now.
Yeah.
Like I have to be there every day.
And was that the goal? Was it always to like be storefront, or did you ever think about that it was just going to be like an online like type?
Well,
business?
I wanted to do it like dough bar. Like I wanted to do it so I have a kitchen, I manufacture the boxes, and I ship it to you.
Right.
But then shipping in Canada is really expensive, and shipping fresh products like 2 to 3 days after it's been made is not as ideal. Whereas in the States, you can get next day shipping for $5-10.
Yeah,
Like it's a lot cheaper. So that model didn't work because people were paying like $30-40 for a box of donuts, and that's not fair. So we tried to be like, hey, let's make a storefront to build the brand name, because people can actually come to a physical location. So that's why we tried the storefront. But that did completely change everything, because like now people can come there, we can like talk to people, we can serve it to you, and I can meet you.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference, rather than just being in a ghost kitchen and just sending people stuff.
And did you notice an uptick of like brand awareness of just maybe even revenue when you started to have the physical location?
Oh no, like we suffered really, really hard.
Right.
Like it's really scary running a donut shop, and like, cause you have to make a lot of donuts and sell a lot of donuts every day to be able to hit your numbers.
Yeah.
How many donuts are you working with a day?
Like before we started, it was like 150, 120. And to me, that was a lot at the time. And it's like, we needed to do like 500 a day to like get anywhere. And like, it was scary, man. Cause like, you're like, I have to make something so unique and different that it brings people in. Like it has to be better than every other place for this to work.
Right.
So it's just like always like constant, like adapting. And like the good thing about the storefront is the feedback. It's because people would taste it, be like, this sucked. I didn't like this. maybe do better here. And like, that's what really helps.
Sure. Yeah. Quicker
Yeah.
feedback loop.
Oh man, like as an entrepreneur, like you take it personally at the time, but you can't.
Yeah.
Like you can't please everybody. So everyone, but then you can always learn from those feedbacks. Like maybe I could do better here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it feels like you're pretty outgoing as well. Like talking to you is very fun and easy.
Thank you.
But you like to bake. You like to be behind closed doors. I think some of those connectors might kind of open up when you start to work with live customers and like might bring you life as well.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty introverted, so I love spending time by myself. So when I had to face people every day and talk to humans every day, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot. Any kind of customer like service, customer facing kind of role is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because like you have to have your A game all the time. Like there's times too is like I'm so tired and I want to be such a jerk, but I'm like I can't.
Do you have you had some bad customers?
I've never had bad customers. Like my biggest problem is like I want to please everyone, and I've learned you cannot please everyone. Not everyone is going to like your product.
Right.
Like you have to accept that. There's a lot of people in this world, and all you need is just a small portion. Like you're serving, you're valuing as many people as you can, but you can't value everybody.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've never had anyone bad. It's just about my attitude at the time.
Yeah. That's
Right.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Kind of circling back though too, I forgot to ask you this question. You kind of mentioned it when you were talking about you were working at Avionics, you said, right?
Yep.
Fixing helicopters. What was your mental like when you switched from that 9 to 5, like I'm assuming secure salary, that type of thing, to starting the business or any of your businesses? Was it like a cold turkey, you just like pulled the plug, or was it like slow transition? Like how did that work?
I'm pretty extreme, and I as soon as I have an instinct feeling, I just go with it without even having any structure. So I just quit.
Yeah.
Quit without any. It was such a dumb idea, but like I quit because I'm like I knew this isn't what I meant to do, and then I just became a personal trainer. I was a fitness advisor, then I became a personal trainer, and then during my personal trainer, I tried to sell vacuums, and then I started fixing printers. I just like picked onto everything that I could do, but then that was a huge pay drop,
right?
Just because like I was making $18 an hour, it was great, and then all of a sudden, as a personal trainer, you're like, if I have no clients, I make $500 a month,
right?
So that's what happened for a while. And that was like, that's really shitty. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like it's a lot of entrepreneurs say always have a secure job and build your business while you have a secure job. Like don't just go all in.
Yeah.
But I did.
It is hard to do that though too. Like we had the same conversation when we were leaving our old job, where it's hard to kind of turn your side hustle into the real hustle when you like want to dedicate the time into doing the side hustle, but you have to like work the 9 to 5, right? And you have to dedicate a certain portion of your brain to your usual work. But yeah, it's super inspiring to hear when people like you just, like just pull the plug and like it's basically you're just hustling, right? You're just trying to make it work until something works. And luckily this did,
Yeah. Yeah.
But if
like
it didn't, you would have just kept going until you
Exactly.
yeah,
found
like
it.
I couldn't, this is an idea that I couldn't give up. And like, the thing is I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell my dad I left Avionics for a year. I just told him I got laid off.
You're right.
Yeah. So if he listens to this, then he just found out. But like, yeah, I just try to build as much as I could. And then, cause like, that was the scariest thing.
Right.
You ask you, how's your Avionics job? I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm like trying to be a personal trainer and sell people gym packages at the time.
Yeah. And do you still do any personal training, or is just the gym for you now?
I just like to exercise now. Then I would hire a personal trainer for myself.
Sure.
Yeah. Like it was really fun at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are the goals for baked donuts? Both, I guess, like is it something that you want to just continue to grow locally? Do you have aspirations, dreams of growing global, international? Like what do you envision?
Well, I'd like to open up a kitchen in the States.
Okay.
I would love to be able to franchise this and open up a location in the States. And then also be able to get the product in stores around Canada. I just want to keep innovating though. Like that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of opportunity here. So I have a lot of like little projects that I'm working on within this. So I don't want to always just do donuts. Like I want to create, like, that's why I call the baked brands, just to allow it to be able to not just do donuts. It's like
Right.
if I can make powders and like cookies and like different. So
That's it's almost your vision is to have like a line of these.
Yeah,
types
kind of
food.
have like a little online store
Cool.
of different products that are gluten-free and vegan, and just like offer, like we have a keto donuts that have eggs in them, but like the whole keto thing is a whole other world of like different macros and different flavors. And then I have gluten-free and vegan stuff. And I just want to continue innovating new things.
Right.
It's really fun.
Yeah, you definitely sound like a like an innovator, you know?
Yeah, and especially picking up on current trends. There's a huge movement around both keto and gluten-free, vegan. Like each of these have a large market, and it's a good time to puncture that.
Yeah, exactly.
Community.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has COVID affected your business? Has that changed like your day to day and your approach to business, or is it fairly the same?
So the interesting thing about COVID is that completely changed my business. Like that was the tipping point for this shop, which was really interesting. It was because I'm in a mall, I don't have control over the mall. So when the mall shuts down, we get no people to come in. So like I'm fucked now. It's like, what do you do? Especially if you have to still pay your rent.
Yeah.
And then so because of that, I was like, let's try deliveries. I made a Instagram story. I was like, who'd be interested in deliveries? About like 10, 15 people responded. I was like, hey, let's just do it. Then I made a little online pre-order store, and that it just started selling. Like we just sold out really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, let's try it again. We sold out even more. And it's like, okay, the fact that that just shows that your location has a lot to do with your business. So it's like people don't want to come downtown and pay for parking and come all the way here. But if I can bring the product to them, that just makes it way easier. Like obviously that's why Amazon's working, because you can choose whatever you want and it comes right to your door.
Yeah.
So that really changed everything. As soon as we offered delivery, I went from 120 donuts to 500 donuts.
Wow. And it wasn't. What was your approach? Like, do you have an approach to marketing, or is it just like all
Instagram.
social? Yeah, it's all social.
Because this is such a visual product, that's why Instagram works. It's like if you can capture people's attention visually, and then if you can also provide the experience of it tasting good, then you've really like held on to something. So that's why I like Instagram. It's like you just tease them with pictures and like this is what's coming up next, and yeah, I've just been using that.
And have you been big on social media like in the past? Is that something you've always you've adopted for the last little bit, or is it something you've had to learn?
Well, like Baked, the protein chef, that was from social media. So social media changed my life.
Right.
But like, I don't like looking at my phone all the time. And it's like, it's come to the point where it's like, I have to, if I want to talk to people, I have to always like go on my phone and message them. It's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I don't like, that's why Megan, it's so nice because she responds to people and she helps me with my social media. It's like, I love taking the picture and presenting it.
Yeah.
And then also like the psychological part of scrolling and Instagram, like that's a huge thing too.
Yeah.
I'm just like really trying to understand that is like, what effect has that had? And it has had an effect. So if you can limit the amount of times you grab your phone every day and like, even though I know it's like a part of your business, but like, give it a time.
Well, no, it's true. Like it does become, you see it all the time. Like you go to, a restaurant, people are always on their phone. You go to a concert and everyone's videotaping the concert rather than enjoying like the moment. Right. And it is an interesting almost mind shift over the past, 10 years that social has like kind of taken over. But yeah, no, it's because whenever we look at, Kohl and I were looking at your Instagram just before you got here, and visually it's fantastic. Like you're saying, it's the product itself. I mean, it speaks for itself, but it's just like the aesthetic of it is so like appealing to the eye that like, of course it makes you want to engage, which is incredible. And
yeah, because it's the experience. It's like if you can visually provide taste and provide a moment where you kind of forget because when you bite into something that's really good, you don't care about anything about how good that tastes at that exact time.
Wow.
And that's a moment. You remember that moment. So it's like, I want to provide that. And I really get turned on by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've noticed is lots of, I guess, like social, have you guys been focusing on like social, like influencer marketing, like influence marketing? Or is it just like, has that been organic? Because I was saying to Kohl, ever since we started talking with you guys to try and get you on the podcast, I've just noticed an uptick, and maybe it's just now my eye is trained to see your brand, but I've seen many people that I follow on locally here on Instagram with your donuts, like all, like literally, like I think like like every day there's at least 2 or 3 stories with your donuts, not on your guys' page, like someone else just posted it.
Oh, cool.
And it's incredible to see. But is that something you guys have tried to like actually focus on, or is that just happen organically?
Well, it's stories. Like I knew that with deliveries, I'm like, if I can make these look great to come to their house, people will repost it in their stories.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, I knew beforehand that the stories, because that's what it is. One person sees that story, it goes to another person, and then it just begins this waterfall effect. Is that a waterfall effect? Is that even a thing?
Yeah.
It's waterfall.
Snowball. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snowball. And then, but then obviously too, he's like, you reach out, you do collaborations, you do giveaways. Like giveaways and collaborations have been huge.
Yeah.
Because like you help someone out and like they'll help you out, and it's just like, and you make new friends, and like we just give people free donuts, and it just keeps just growing.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. I think it's I think it's, whether it's on purpose or like whether it's intentional or not, I think that your guys' approach is something that we're trying to learn from with even like our business. It's how to engage and build like an experience, like you're saying, that not only will benefit the individual, but they'll want to share and show that like, I like this so much that I want other people that follow me to experience the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Right? It's so interesting.
And it works. Like if you have a nice product, it works. Another one that I think of that, we've taken a part of during this isolation period is one of the local favorites, Shiki Menya, for Japanese ramen.
Yeah.
Their whole shop, is that they're only open for a couple hours a day, where you just go in and they have a finite amount of bowls of ramen. And then once they're out of bowls, they just close down. But once, COVID hit, what do? They pivoted as well. They're doing the delivery and build your own kits. So then now you have this interaction where you have these delicious bowls, and then you have the experience of building it yourself. Then you make this creation, and then everyone's posting it. You just repost it. I'm pretty sure we reposted it.
Yeah,
probably.
of course.
But it's a fun experience, and it has a viral effect.
But see, that's what it is, man. It's like, it's the experience factor. When you can make someone forget about whatever it is in their day and just like be in that moment, they want other people to experience that too.
Yeah. And is it, so I'm assuming this is something that you'll continue to do. You're saying that you kind of switched to online orders due to COVID. Is it something that you've thought about just continuing to do like forever post-COVID, like long term?
Knowing that, because right now the storefront has an overhead, but so I'm building a production kitchen that is just the ghost kitchen that I can produce and deliver to people, and then the storefront will be a storefront.
Right.
So delivery is a must.
Yeah.
Because like if you can bring the conveniency of having donuts delivered to your door, that's going to work than having to drive 30 minutes to a downtown location.
Right.
Pay $6 just to park too.
Yeah, especially TD is kind of.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like it was costing me about like $800 a month park there to work there every day. It was insanity.
To park?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's $45 a day.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it's little stuff like that we take for granted. Like when working in downtown, our old company paid for our parking, so it's like one of those things where you don't really think about.
Yeah.
But when you start to see the actual numbers, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So like for you guys, since you started this, what do you feel like has been your biggest challenge so far? Like something that you faced that has really like changed for you, that you were like able to like overcome? Because like you also made a big bold move.
Yeah, I mean we did a similar thing, and a lot of the time I'm a little bit more conservative. Adrian's more entrepreneurial, so we tandem work together well. But for me, as finances, I was getting married last year,
right?
Paying for a wedding, and then also trying to quit your job at the same time is like a difficult equation to balance. So making that transition was just quitting and going full-fledged into the unknown is a big challenge, and the only way to really deal with that is to work hard, and it really helps having a partner to work through it as well. 'Cause
absolutely,
there's there's a whole slew of challenges that are worked in there, but quitting and just starting, huge challenge. And then now building something to release in the software space, just getting that hurdle has been a big challenge, but it's that perspiration and determination element
100%.
that is needed to help carry through that. Because that's where we're at now, is just keep going forward, and we're in that overcoming phase still. I wouldn't say that we've overcome some of our biggest hurdles yet.
I'm around the same mindset, where a lot of our struggles to date has been kind of like trying to figure out how much to do and how much to like push, like how much to challenge certain ideas or how much to pursue certain ideas. Because at this moment, like there's Kohl saying, with us leaving our old jobs and having this financial pressure, it's like you're always trying to come up with ideas that one are like beneficial, but also have like potential, right? Because it's not like we can go an unlimited amount of time trying to like, grind out without making any money, right? And so that's like there's a mental hurdle around that. And then also just like on a personal level, like Kohl and I, we've worked together, like I think we were saying to you this before the podcast started, but we've worked together for around 6-7 years, and we worked on a lot of projects like directly together. So we know how each other works, but we knew how to work in the context of a different company. So like the company sets the structure and you just execute on that, right? And now we're creating that structure. So now we're almost creating the work and like the projects that we need to work on. And so it is a bit of a mind shift that maybe I took for granted, or I didn't necessarily anticipate the difficulty of like being the ones that has to be like, okay, this week we're doing this, right? Because that's just like what we want to pursue, rather than at any other company, you kind of have a set structure put in front of you and you just have to execute on what they're telling you to do.
Right.
That was definitely one of the most difficult things. It still is very difficult, but yeah, we're definitely getting by as time goes.
But not without stress. You know?
What's it like working with your partner? Are they like involved heavily, or are they kind of silent?
Well, he's more of an investor, so he kind of like gave the foundation. I'll go to him when it comes to just like questions like about like either payroll or like what are we going to do next with this big move. But otherwise, it's like I run the whole show, and I was doing it all by myself, and I really had no one to talk to.
Right.
So that's why it was like you're trying to learn at the same time. You're faced with it. You're just like, it's just like this chaos that's in your mind that you just have to. So that's what it's really nice that you guys are partners, because like you're able to like work off of each other too.
Yeah.
And like now that I have Megan help me with all this, like, so it helps me that I can talk to her and she gives me ideas. She's like, no, that's a stupid idea. Like maybe try this. And it's like, it works.
Right.
So it saves some sanity, but like definitely having a team is very necessary.
Yeah.
Like trying to do everything by yourself, which I always try to do, is really fucking hard, man.
And did you find like did you have like any struggle mentally with that? Like I know that when we were, just for context, when we were thinking about leaving our old job, it was very imperative that we did this together, because like one, we live together, we're like really good friends, and we know how each other works, but also we've seen other solopreneurs like just struggle, right? Like, because it's like you don't have that person to bounce anything off of, and other people don't necessarily understand. How did you feel with that?
Dude, I want to fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
Like, I've had 2 times in my life where I'm like, I want to kill myself. Like it came to that point. It's like, I can't handle this shit anymore. Cause you're like, you don't feel good enough. You're not meeting your expectations. You're tired. You just feel like you've lost all hope. You're like, this is never going to work. I'm just exhausting myself. And you see all these other people like enjoying their life. And then you get stuck on Instagram and you're like, fuck, how did they do it?
The Ferrari.
An online store. And I'm like, I'm busting my ass trying to bake every day.
Yeah.
It was really hard. And it's like, that's where it really helps to have a mentor, or like look at other people who've gone through this too. That's why when you guys talk about like, you're sharing your real-time struggles, it's important to see that other people go through this shit, and some people go through way worse shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to know that like you're not alone.
Yeah.
So whatever you're going through, you can overcome, but it takes a lot of fucking mental power, and just, you got to bite it. You're like, okay, this happened. Like, I got to understand this and just grow from it. But yeah, having, like, I've had a couple of life coaches too, just to be able to just find someone to talk to.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be able to share what's on your brain. There's a lot of shit in there.
And did you have any like you just talked about briefly there, like inspiration? Like do you have any, like whether it's fitness or whether it's in the entrepreneur life, like who are the people that you kind of look up to?
It's all through YouTube. So Tom Bilyeu from Impact Theory, the Quest Bar founder.
Yeah.
I love Tom Bilyeu. I pretty much watch him every day. And then like David Goggins for like mentality, and then Ryan Holiday from Ego. He wrote Ego is the Enemy. And it's like, I look at those guys. I look at guys who have worked really hard and have made their vision come to reality. And I want to know that I kind of envision, I'm like, I'm going to meet that person one day, and that I want to be able to tell them how they influenced me and how it just like, it helped me shift to their mindset.
Wow.
But also something I try to do is like, David Goggins talks about it. There's David Goggins, and then there's Goggins, is having like that second personality who just like fucking will work his ass off over anything. So I like, have you guys ever played the video game God of War?
Yeah.
It's the greatest video game ever. And it's Kratos. He gets sent to hell by Zeus, and his goal is like to go fucking kill Zeus.
Yeah.
And there's like the scene in the video game where he's like, Zeus, and he's at the bottom of Mount Athena, or Mount Olympus, sorry. And then I'm like, this guy, he never fucking gave up. He wanted to destroy Zeus. And like, I try my best to have my alter ego be Kratos, especially when I feel weak.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't cry, because I cry a lot. I'm very it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, what would Kratos do? It's like, so I'm really trying to do that right now.
Yeah.
Is shift that.
Just that killer instinct, that Mamba mentality.
Yeah, the Mamba mentality, exactly. Like all those guys, they have that. They're like, I'm just gonna do as good as I can, as hard, and work as hard as I can, and like you just can't be a bitch. You just fucking have to do it.
It's so interesting that you say that, right? Because it does relate a lot to sports in the sense of like there is that killer instinct, that mentality that you have to, that like these personas they adopt when they're on the field of play. But when you talk to them, I'm sure like in their everyday life, I'm sure that's not like what they're like, right? Like they're good enough human beings. But like when you see these people in their element, like when they're pursuing their ultimate passion, it's like they're just like killers. They just want to do everything that they can to be successful at that thing. And that sounds like what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's like a flow state. It's like a lion. A lion, when the lion is hunting, it's different than when it's like just chilling out.
Yeah.
When it's hunting, it's fucking hunting, and like if you get in its way, it's gonna destroy you.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's really tough. It's tough to just be like switching back and forth, but it's just like learning how to be stronger and how to not let all these things just like stop you, because you're gonna face so much stuff.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about trying to branch out potentially in the future and create multiple lines or multiple product offerings for the baked brands. Do you have any of those ideas already? Like, do you have things on the go?
Oh yeah.
Are we allowed to ask you what they are yet, or are they still being worked on?
I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you said as well online, I saw 9 months to get your recipe for the donut, right?
Yeah, it took a long time to get that done. I think we went through like 7 different recipes. And like I feel like right now I can confidently say I'm very happy with the donut base recipe. Obviously there's room for improvement, and I want to improve it. But from when it first started, I've changed a lot of like little things. Understanding like baking science and how a teaspoon of baking soda will affect the whole thing, and adding a little bit more apple cider vinegar and reducing my applesauce, and like all these like little things just like change the outcome.
Yeah.
So it's cool trying to understand it.
It's chemistry.
Yeah.
But do you think your next recipes will take that much time, and you'll be able to truncate that a bit?
No, like I've learned a lot that I can. So what I try to do is that I see what I want to bake in my brain, and then I try to deconstruct it, and I'll find recipes that kind of replicate that outcome, and I'll just like play it in my mind, because like I know every ingredient provides a different outcome, and it's just like a math equation. So it's like if I remove the baking soda from here and I add baking powder, and then I add more peanut butter here and reduce this, I'll like see it in my head and be like, okay, I'll try this one, and then I'll try it, and then usually by like 1 or 2, maybe 2, 3 tries, I'll usually get it.
That's great. You're like the Rain Man of food.
I know. It's like it
like a math equation.
Makes me think of pipettes and titrations and working through chemistry labs back in university. And
it's like when you're obsessed with it, he's just like that's all you think about. You're like I literally dream about donuts almost every day, and it's like you just get
you're
so
staring
upset.
at them all day.
Yeah. I hate it.
Yeah. It's a daymare. It's
Yeah.
not a nightmare, a daymare.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All
Are we cracking into these, or what's the situation?
Yeah, so there's a couple donuts here that we're lucky enough to get because they were all sold out when we were trying to order them. But yeah, I think we should definitely try and
So I
break
froze
into
these, so they're not going to be as ideal as the fresh ones I bring you.
It's all good. What are these? Are these? What's the flavor of these guys?
So this is just like the Homer Simpson donut, just pink glaze with sprinkles and a bit of strawberry jam. And this is a chocolate Oreo.
Kohl, which
I
one
probably
do you-
look more like Homer than you. So, and I feel like you like chocolate more than I. So
Let's do it.
So I don't
try
know
that
how,
way.
I don't know how.
Hold on.
How thawed they are.
I want to show this. Let's show this. See
Yeah,
if the
unfortunately,
camera
for anyone listening on audio only,
See
is
this?
not going
Look
to be
at
able to
this.
see these, but they're super colorful. They look delicious.
Break into one. Break into one.
Okay, let's see what's going on.
Is it soft?
Oh yeah, it's not frozen at least. It's cool. It's cool.
So How many flavors do you work with?
Do you want a good view so you can watch
I
me?
do.
I'll get this out of the
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
so I
Okay.
can-
Let's do this so that.
Once I bring you in the future, it can be better.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is just kind of like.
It smells good.
I love donuts, by the way. This is my dream. I'm chocolate all over my face. This is fucking incredible.
You don't have to lie.
No, I'm not. It tastes like I thought it was going to taste. Let me finish eating. My parents will get mad at me if I talk with my mouth full. I didn't know that it would taste exactly like a donut. Like, I know obviously it is a donut, but I thought that
That's so crazy.
it would have like some type of like noticeable difference in
Because
taste.
honestly, the texture kind of obviously because it's baked, it's not deep fried. I don't know how donuts are naturally made, or not naturally, but historically. But it definitely has a consistency of like not as harsh as like a banana bread or something like that. But there are some, and I love banana bread. There's like some very like similar textures in there, but
It's denser, that's for sure.
Yeah.
man,
yeah.
this is nice. I kind of want to crush it all right now, but I should probably just wait until after the pod.
How does the like? So you said like that's like the Homer Simpson style, and this is like an Oreo.
Yeah, it's supposed to
Chocolate.
be a mint Oreo, but
Yeah.
I didn't put any mint in the green.
And how do you like? How many flavors do you typically like run?
I change my
at
flavors
any
every
time?
week, so I have 6 flavors.
Every
and-
week you change your flavors.
Yeah, that's been
Damn.
the biggest challenge. Like when we first started, I had 9 signature flavors. So when we first started the shop, it was all make your own. That was the concept. It was like Subway of donuts. So you come,
Oh, okay.
choose your donut base. I want Oreos and this topping, and then I would make it for you and like design it and all this stuff.
Kind of like marble slab, almost like ice cream.
Yeah.
Subway.
But in the end, if you want your business to win, speed wins. That was taking like 3 to 4 minutes per transaction. It's like if you have a lineup of people, this is gonna take you fucking hours.
Yeah.
So it's like especially after watching the founder for the McDonald's, that was a great documentary.
Yeah.
But like they're like they were trying to reduce everyone's order to 30 seconds. So it's like, okay, we have to completely change our business model to pre-make all the donuts now instead of having to make them all from the beginning. So then we offered 9 different flavors, but people like variety.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to desserts too. So then once the COVID hit, we changed it up every week. Before it was like maybe every 2-3 weeks. Now it's like you got to keep people's curiosity. Like, oh, I wonder what next week's flavors are.
But so do you have a running list of the flavors that you
No, I usually
used?
come up with it the day before.
Oh, really? So,
What
so
is
you-
going-
I
this
thought
is
you
so
could,
crazy
yeah,
to
I thought
me.
you could have like a repository of like, here I have either, I could see it going either one of 2 ways, being like, oh, I have like 20 flavors that would kind of rotate through, or being like, I have 300, a list here, running list, and still growing, but you just make it up.
Yeah, like we usually like I have. There's other donut shops that I follow that those flavors will inspire, but usually it'd be like, okay, this flavor worked this week. How can we take this peanut butter one and then because like people love sprinkles. This week we had. What the fuck did I have? Oh yeah, so we did a Dunkaroos one.
Oh,
Like I'm not the most proud about it. It's like it could have been way better, but it had sprinkles and was the most popular. So it's like, okay, so next week let's do a sprinkle one. What can we do that's different? That's flashy. It's like, okay, the Homer Simpson one is pink. That's flashy. It has sprinkles. Let's try that one.
Yeah.
And then every flavor provides like a different. Like you have a coconut one, you have a coffee one, you have a peanut butter one. So every one kind of gives you a different sensation. So you work around that element.
It's so crazy hearing you talk about donuts, man, because it's like you're like a mad scientist slash like artist with donuts, and it's insane because like it obviously shows in your work, but it's just crazy to hear someone talk about donuts like this. It's great. It's cool.
Yeah, they are a big part of my life. But it's like, that's the thing though. It's like, it's just art. It's edible art. It's like, obviously, like I want to make them way better and keep getting better at it. But
Yeah.
So do you eat donuts?
I do. I have my moments where I'll crush like 6 or 12. I got sad one day and I ate 12 of them.
Yeah.
Sitting. And
That happens, man.
I wouldn't suggest that to anybody. It doesn't matter how healthy of a donut it is. Like,
Yeah.
don't eat 12 donuts sitting. Yeah. But no, I do. Like, I'll get random cravings for them. I can't have them in my house.
Yeah. Because they're
dangerous.
just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone. That's hilarious. No, this is amazing. I highly recommend this. I want to crush this right now.
But I'll try. After this, I'll give.
I'm
4
excited.
guys.
I'll
we'll
bring
share.
you the legit flavors this week. Like, I'm very excited to bring you guys those ones.
Yeah. No, we're excited too. So what else is going on? What's going on with have you been anticipating like the post-COVID, like welcoming everyone back into the storefront? What's your mindset going for the next like year or so?
It's been pretty stressful because like this is a fresh item and I can't just make a bunch and just have them sit there and give someone a donut that was made like 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
I expect them to enjoy it. So that's been the hard part. Until the kitchen is open, I have to keep the storefront closed and do all my production out of there. So,
And what's it been like though with the kind of the uncertainty with when you are able to open? Like, is that stressful? Like, do you have more information about that, or are you kind of just like in the loop
the
like
food court's
everyone
already
else?
open in the mall,
Right.
Like and there's already traffic in there, but I'm just playing it. I'm just stepping back because like I just don't want to give people a stale product. So I'm going to wait until there's enough movement in that mall so I can open up comfortably and then know that people are at least able to get some sort of fresh product. Because right now we have control over when we want to open.
Oh, I see.
Are there a ton of preservatives in like a historic donut?
No, but the fact that they're yeast donuts and they're deep fried, the fat content retains moisture a lot better than a cake style donut.
Right.
So like with these ones, they can get dry really fast. Whereas like when you have Tim Hortons, like they can sit out there for a whole day and be totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like if I did the same thing, like they would get stale and be really gross.
Oh, I see. Crazy.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm not trying to let the stress of everything affect, just kind of like go day by day and just see how to just adapt to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. So we're actually approaching an hour here. Kind of flew by. Do you have any other last questions or anything like that? Final thoughts?
I mean, I just think it's all so interesting.
Yeah, I think you're, to be quite frank, like, so we just met, an hour and a half ago. It's extremely inspiring what you've done. I think part of Kohl was mentioning this to you before, but part of the reason why we do this podcast is because we want to talk to people like you and learn from other entrepreneurs locally, internationally and whatnot. And what you're doing is super inspirational because I think that one, it's like having the balls to just leave and pursue what you want to do, but it's also like once you are executing on it, there's like a different level of like, I have a different level of almost respect for somebody like you who's actually going out and doing something and accomplishing something. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's amazing. It's
amazing. Like, I want to like my biggest thing is like in the end, like I've always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher and to be able to like tell kids that you can do like doesn't matter what your dream is, like just fucking go for it.
Right.
Like when I was young, I wanted to be a toy designer and an actor. Like that's what came out in my portfolio for a job when I was in grade 6. And like, I feel like I'm designing donuts now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to be able to teach people just like whatever your dream is, like just fucking go for it. Like just believe in it. Don't ever doubt yourself and just adapt and just fucking accomplish that shit.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I eventually want to do is be able to, because I remember every speaker when I was young and like those guys, like the guy spoke to me with no arms. And he was driving cars, he was playing drums. And like,
oh, yeah. I think this guy went to my school too.
Yeah. And
this guy's the most incredible
right?
guy.
And just shows you, it's just like, there's so much possibility. You don't have to do what other people say. You don't have to be what you think other people see as you. It's like, be yourself, be authentic, and fucking work your ass off and envision your life. If it goes good with your heart, just like go for it.
Incredible.
Like, that's what I just want to eventually prove and then prove my dad too.
Yeah.
My dad will never be proud of me until I make financial security from this. And I want to be like, here you go, you're retired now because of all this.
Yeah. No, that's amazing though.
Well, I guess that's a question that I have. Is it trending in that direction without having to like talk about numbers, details, but is it trending in a lucrative, direction that it's, now you're on it full time. You can, pay yourself to like live and
Well,
cover
like,
costs. And
when I started this, I was paying myself, it was like $11 an hour. And it was like, I would work 12, 15 hours a day and you make $800 a month.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck my life. This sucks. Like now I'm like, oh, I can comfortably pay some more bills now. Obviously it's not even close to where it could be.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's giving me hope. It's like, wow, people actually do like this. I couldn't possibly make something bigger out of this.
Yeah.
So I'm really lucky. And I'm very grateful that people are enjoying this and it's making people happy. And it's like, this is really fucking cool. Like it's actually become something.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like the passion is definitely coming out of your love for this, but also I think the fruits of your labor are starting to at least on my side, I'm starting to notice your brand all over the place. So I think it's nothing but up from here.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just close this off by saying thank you to Bayan for joining us. We appreciate you for taking the time. Make sure you follow Bayan on his Instagram. I think it's Bayan's Kitchen.
Yeah.
At Bayan's Kitchen. And his brand, Baked Doughnuts, at Baked Brands. All the links to his socials will be in all of the descriptions below. As always, shouts out to everyone watching or listening to us. If there's anyone that you feel you want us to interview, DM us their name and we'll try to make it happen. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe to get notified when we release new episodes. Last but not least, make sure you follow us on our socials at KAJ Convos, at KAJ Convos, CONVOS. Thank you for listening to this episode of the KAJ Convos podcast. My name is Adrian.
My name's Kohl.
And that is Bayan Sharafi.
And remember, always keep it cash.
Keep it cash. Later, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, man. This is so cool.
It was incredible, dude. You had a great, it was a great conversation, man.
That was exciting.
Just so